Hello and welcome to This Week in Webseries. We have with us Matt Newcomb from Hollywood Wasteland, which is a web series that I really like. I am Travis Gordon, your host of This Week in Webseries, and welcome, Matt.
Thanks, Travis. It's great to be here. Glad This Week in Webseries is continuing on again.
Yeah, it's been a while. I've just been busy, but I love talking to web series creators. It's a lot of fun.
Yep, and as you are well aware of, most of us are pretty busy all the time, so it's good to get a chance and see what other people are up to.
Yeah. Well, it's probably good that we're busy because you want to spend most of your time on the work itself. But yeah, it's nice to, I guess, get some fresh air and talk to other guys and hopefully inspire each other. And now we may have Chris Greenaway join us in a bit, but that gives us some time to talk about Hollywood Wasteland. So there were originally Hollywood Wasteland is sort of like a time-traveling steampunk Terminator comedy, I would say, from what I've seen. And there's been 4 episodes released so far.
That is correct. It's basically, I guess, almost like a love letter to sci-fi and post-apocalyptic films and that whole genre. It's sort of an action-adventure sci-fi comedy, definitely within that area. We released 4 episodes so far. It's been going. It's a project that's been going on for a little while, and there's some reasons for that I can go into a little bit later. But we've been the start of this year. We were focused mainly on fundraising, and now we're finally getting back in to shooting. And I guess we'll call it our season 1.5. So it's our cap to the storyline that we started in season 1.
Cool. Now, you guys did a fundraiser called the Destructathon, I believe. Yeah.
We started an Indiegogo fundraiser about February or March, and we had looked at a lot of campaigns in the past and tried to see what was successful, what worked, and what didn't. And what we wanted to do was just not have a campaign. We just threw it up online and begged our friends every day to give us money. So we created 2 events that we hoped would get more response from people. So the first event was sort of our kickoff, and that was an event called Apocapalooza, and that was a party that we threw here in LA. So it was for people around in the area, and we rented out a hall. We got some wine sponsored. We had
nice
kung fu demonstrations. We had a live band come and play, the Whiskey Saints, and we just wanted to have people come in, free drinks, and free admission, and we just wanted people to. We hung up all the costumes and had episodes playing and some extra special features playing all around, and just asked for people to donate whatever they felt appropriate, and that was probably the biggest money-making day for us that we had during our whole campaign. So
wow,
I think so it was definitely worth doing, and it was a lot of fun. I brewed some beer, a whole keg for the party, and we tapped it by the end of the night, so that was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, we have some pictures of that online. It was a pretty good crowd. The second event that you were involved with a little bit was called Destructathon,
right?
And that was towards the end of the campaign. We wanted to involve, since we are a web series and we can be seen anywhere online, we wanted to involve more of the community that wasn't in our direct area. Oh, I see Chris is on this now.
Excellent. Yeah, you seem. There we go. Hey, Chris.
Am I visible here?
You are, sir. Welcome to the show.
I can see. Alrighty, I can't see myself, so there we are.
We got a bright sun coming in.
Yeah, it's too bright to have my house lights on, so.
Okay, so Matt was telling us about his fundraising efforts. I found it very creative. Then Chris joined us, and so tell us. Can you say how much you raised for the two events? Or would you? You don't have to.
I want to say. Well, I'm just trying to remember. It was over. I think it was around. Over 1,000 per event, which was pretty significant for us.
Oh yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, and they were our two biggest fundraising days that we had, so they definitely paid off. They were, however, a lot of work, and Destructathon though was my favorite event because we did basically a live stream for several hours, and we had a bunch of people come on, and we destroyed things on. In our friend's backyard, and it was a lot of fun. We destroyed things like TVs, watermelons, doors, piano, and our little pinball machine. A lot of great stuff, and we even had like a junk sponsor, which was awesome. So this guy came and brought us a lot of the cool things like the piano and the pinball machine and some other cool stuff to destroy, and they also hauled away all the garbage when we were done. So that was amazing.
Nice.
And those are the 1-800 junk guys, and that was really cool. We had a food truck come, and they from the Grill 'Em All food truck, they brought us.
Did you
some
destroy
food.
the food truck?
We did not destroy the food truck.
That's good. That's good.
Because we needed the food out of it. But
right.
they got to come on and destroy some stuff. So. It was really fun. We got we had other people from around the world make videos. Travis, you made one.
Mm-hmm.
We had the Indie Inner Tube girls make one from Canada as well, and then a few other series from around the country made some videos for us as well. I know James Fernandez from Vampires and Bites did, and several others. So it was really cool to get other people involved, and we had other web series guests that were local that could be on the show, be there as well. So
cool. Okay, and so there's been 4 episodes released online, and you are now shooting. I guess would it be episode 5?
Yeah, well, we're shooting the back 4, I guess. So we're going to shoot them all sort of as one event, and then hopefully release them all, once they're all completed. So we don't have, one of the biggest problems that we had was our slow release dates, because it's sort of a production intensive show to shoot and edit. So we're trying to not have such a big delay, and we're just going to wait until they're all done instead of trying to push them out as we have them ready.
Well, here's a question I have for you. Why not wait on it as long as necessary and then release them all, or put them out on a monthly basis if you have a reasonable ETA?
Oh yeah, that's totally the plan. We didn't do that for our first 4, but for these next 4, I'm gonna wait till they're all done so we can do one a week for the remaining 4 weeks. That's definitely one of the this is the first series that I've worked on, so definitely a big learning experience, and that's one thing that we're going to change.
See, well, Spell Fury, I just I take forever to get them out, but
Yeah.
as soon as I'm done, I just have to release them. I've tried to keep them sort of in the can, and I just can't. I just have to put them out. But everyone's web series is different for how you release.
I remember with my first series, Camp Bloody Beach, which was, my God, it's getting so long. This was actually pre-Fred when this came out, but it was 2 of us. One was editing, one was shooting, and and there wasn't a whole lot of synergy there. The result was a very erratic release schedule. Sometimes it would be 3 in a week, sometimes there'd be none for 2 weeks, and it would just get to a point where we were starting over every other time. With Venus, the first time we did it, we edited everything in a few days, and then released it weekly when we were ready. But then from that point forward, we've actually been editing every week during the season. to adapt to what's going on with our viewers. So it's kind of been a long, painful process over the years of trial and error, and I think a lot of it comes down to just how many people you can get together with in a certain period of time to get things finished. And sometimes that can be really easy. Sometimes it can be pulling teeth, your own teeth.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely, and that, like I said, we have a lot of, there's a lot of strange locations and things we need. So it's hard for us to get. We're not able to do the regular shooting schedule and release like that. But definitely with some shows it works out much better. So I mean that's the one takeaway I've had over the last year or so is you want to have a reliable release schedule. So that's what we're shooting for.
Yeah.
See, for me, I don't mind the time because it takes sometimes, best case scenario, I want it to be, every month for me, but sometimes it's like 2 months or 3 months. But that gives me time to get a deal going with the sponsor because those things take time. I have to send emails and then it takes a while for them to get back to me, and then I have to say, well, we're going to shoot, so you have to let me know, or I have to go with someone else. So yeah, for me it works out fine because I can't release them on a weekly schedule, just because it's so much post-production. Everything's shot in front of a green screens, and it's a lot of layering stuff together with effects. So for me, it just doesn't work for a weekly thing, unless I start making even more money, and then I can perhaps I could do that full time. Anyways, so I guess you've learned a lot, because you've had a big gap in the middle. Is there anything you're going to do differently with these last 4 episodes?
Well, aside from waiting until they're all done to release them, we, they're going to be longer, and they're gonna have more in them. We're trying to really, end on a high note and end with a bang. We shot the first 2 in one shoot, and we shot the second 2 in another shoot, and I think that we had some improvement between those, and I'm hoping that after this next gap, people will come back and see that we've really stepped things up for these. Our last episode is clocking in at around, it might be like a whole 20-minute thing. So that's definitely one thing we want to change because we only have 4 more episodes. We don't have 10 more episodes. We're trying to at least get as much out of them as we possibly can.
Okay, so we are back. Now, what were we talking about?
I had a question in regards to the between the last set of episodes and the new set of episodes, and the pre-production and production going into it, and that is, was there a sense of urgency because of the delay, and did it translate on set?
Well, we sort of had that sense of urgency for a little while. We actually, during the fundraising, we filmed a lot of extra little videos that we could do. So each of the main cast members actually has their own little mini-series where, like Walter, our survivalist guy, has his survival tips, and the main character reviews comic books because he's a aspiring comic book artist. Okay. So we made all these, and we were planning on releasing them until hopefully we would be able to shoot more, have the episodes ready. Okay. But after a couple months, we realized it was going to take a lot longer than we initially thought. So I kind of stopped releasing the extra stuff, and what I'm going to do is wait until everything's in the can and we're on our way to editing. And as we get closer, I'm going to build everything up. So we're kind of we're flying silent right now, and I just think that it'll just be better if we come back really strong as opposed to trying to keep the interest during this downtime, because I honestly don't know how long we're still going to be down until everything's shot. So
Now, are you going to have 8 episodes every season? Is that going to be, or is that just for season 1?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously we're a little flexible. We have the story arced out. We have 3 seasons we'd like to tell, and yeah, it would probably be about the same length. We may, the number of probably the amount of content is probably about the same. It's just we may rethink how we split the episodes up into the different episodes. But we're trying to just get through this season first before we worry about that.
Right. Yeah. Getting the first season in the can is a good feeling. It's you climb the mountain and you got to the summit and
yeah.
And then you just can just sort of chill and then rethink the show and what worked, what didn't work. I know Chris and I we were big fans of the steampunk. The first scene in episode 1, we both thought that rocked.
Yeah, and that's sort of a change that we made because everyone really latched on to the scenes that took place in the future. So there's a lot more of that stuff in the back 4 in the new stuff we're shooting. So I'm really happy about that. We're gonna have some really exciting stuff happen there, and that was again the gap helped us in some ways and hurt us in some others. But I think one was that we were able to really figure out what people latched onto, and then enhance that stuff in the next shoot.
Well, the thing that I noticed from watching it was that when it comes to marketing a show, that's always in the back of my mind when I'm making anything. I'm always writing an idea that I'm writing. Who wants to watch it? And I think that the steampunk angle has a far better chance of really reaching a strong audience that will not only latch onto it but stay with it than the present day stuff.
Yeah,
honestly, because I think that one's got a niche audience. It's if you've got who love the outfits, the contraptions, though they're really heavy duty into that stuff. And I noticed this with race viewers that they couldn't stop talking about the production itself and the production value and all the elaborate costumes and stuff. That's really something that they love, and it's a great way to interact, and it's a great way to resonate, and the story just comes with it much better, and it's a great concept for that.
Yeah, I mean, originally, if we would have had unlimited resources, I would have rather done something that only took place in the future. But that's the thing. Like, that one scene was half of our budget for the first 2 episodes.
Right.
So the problem is they're much more expensive to shoot. But we're trying to we want to bring more of that in. So we're just planning on doing that.
I mention it because it's big when Felicia Day has to steal the idea for on the Guild. Like they went steampunk in the 5th season, and there was that was a case of they must have known going into that season, this is really big. We should put this and find a way to get this in there.
Yeah, and of course they added furries too.
Yeah, well that's furries scare me.
They're eternally popular.
I think that's why America still has mascots.
Okay, well, so Matt, when your new episodes come out, please let us know. I can mention it on the show, and I just want to switch to you, Chris. And can you tell us a little bit about what's going on with Venus Spa?
Venus Spa is we're taking a week off this week for possibly making a mini Christmas card video for the viewers, and we've done 6 episodes so far in our new season. We did a Grey Cup video briefly for our football championship in Canada because Winnipeg, where we take place, was in it this year. We're still doing pretty good. Our fan interaction is through the roof this year. We added trivia questions to the end of the episodes.
Oh, sorry, guys. Keep going. I'll just turn that on.
Okay. And we've had hidden shout outs, and that's been really working well with our fans. And our comment numbers are just through the roof compared to what it used to be. In fact, on average, double what they were last year.
Yeah, I've noticed that. You're getting a lot of interaction with the fans, a lot of comments.
It started last year, and we developed it more this year because we just added more to the show in terms of like the ability to dress our set with more 80s material and memorabilia, which added to the show. The stories themselves seems to be resonating a lot more. Fans really, we added things like comic book transitions between scenes, which we did, which replaced the Batman parody between scenes that we did last year, and that went over really well. We adapt regularly during any given season. But this year, I think the audience really got into it more than in past years. The general consensus is the storyline this year is far more inspired than it was last year, and that all the other things we've done to make the show reasonably interactive were even better than last year. But that was more of a case of the show and myself and everyone around me growing with it, and having the concepts down pat rather than just experimenting, which is what we were doing a lot of last year. And the outfits were even better this year. Danielle did an amazing job of designing the costumes, and she's the one who plays Allie on the show.
The new girl, right?
No, she's one of the originals.
Oh, yeah, Allie, yep. What's the new girl's name?
Jamie. The actress' name is Anastasia Furlong. Amazing actress. I really think she's got so much potential, and she's only like 19, 20 years old, but she came in and just walked right in, and she just blended in instantly with the cast, and it just worked just like that. And the audience is really getting into her. They really like her, and they really like Jamie's storyline. You know, she's about a nerd girl from the sticks who wants to be a solid gold dancer. I mean, that's that just writes itself, really.
I'm sort of thinking that like season 1 of a web series it's almost like software. It's your beta, and you send it out, and it's got some it's got quirks, and it's not quite right, and you're looking for feedback. And because I know with season 2 for me, I learned so much from season 1, and I retooled the show. I got rid of the previously ons, and this started off with a 10-second intro that sort of wraps up what the whole sort of plot line of the series is. So if someone hadn't seen season 1, they could just jump right into season 2. And then I also, with season 1, I didn't make much money on it, so I had to retool it and go, okay, well, how the heck am I gonna get sponsors involved with my show? Because by just going with medieval sponsors, you really limit yourself. So I had to come up with a way to put in brands. So I wrote a tavern scene into every episode of season 2, just so I could have food and beer and stuff like that. Like it looks like we may actually have a car in an upcoming episode. So
that would be great. I still think a Back to the Future gag needs to get in there. I've been saying that for a while, but that would be epic if you could pull that. Here's a question for you in regards to that. Have you ever considered, I don't know if you've spoken to music manufacturers like Gibson or Pearl or anyone like that, and added a wandering minstrel?
Well, we're going to have a minstrel in an upcoming episode. We did, we got Spell Fury on TV, national Canadian television on Global last week, which was cool. So it played in all the provinces. And it was on a show called J.R. Diggs, who was a big fan of the show. And I'm a big fan of his, too. He's sort of like a Tom Green sort of type guy, sort of tongue-in-cheek. I really liked his style, and he really dug our show, so he said, I'm going to get you guys on TV. But I'm going to actually get JR to come in and play a bard in the bar scene. So
nice.
Yeah, sort of cool.
Yeah.
But so okay now. So we've talked about our shows, but the thing that everyone's talking about right now, and actually what's going on, is the IAWTV awards ceremony. There's been nominations, and Matt, we'll start with you. What are your thoughts on how things are going, the positives, the negatives, and just how you feel about the whole thing?
Well, I think one of the positives was the voting process. I think it was set up really fair so that everyone got a vote, and everyone's entry was seen an equal amount of times. And thanks to David Nett and that whole group for setting that up. I think it was a very fair way of doing it, as opposed to just going through a list and having people select the ones they've heard of before. This way, it forced you to watch, to at least see the other entries on the page before you did it. So I think that was great. There's a few issues with the throttling where it's like I wanted to vote but I couldn't, and that was a little frustrating. But I guess overall, the process is what it is, and people voted. I would have definitely loved to have seen more submissions. There's a lot of great shows that I know of that didn't submit, and I don't. Obviously, if the good shows don't submit, we might not get the right shows in there. So that's one of my concerns going forward. Obviously, haven't had the awards show yet. I'm hoping that they're going to knock it out of the park. So, we'll see.
Yeah, and again, it's just the first year for the awards. So every year goes by, more and more people will become aware of it and submit. Now, Chris, you've been vocal of your thoughts on the awards, but now's your chance.
How long is this video? I didn't submit Venus Spa for a number of reasons. Most of them had to do with I did not like how things were being done. I really have not had any confidence at all in the leadership in the organization, especially after the Model Motion blackball incident. I said, you know what, I can't put my name on this.
Okay, now Chris, for people who don't know about what happened with that, we've actually never talked about it on the show. If you could just give us a setup for what happened.
When Paul, I can't pronounce his name,
Contanis,
the head of the IAW TV, was in Canada. He was doing a live show with a couple of girls from Quebec, I believe, and Model Motion asked some questions. Model Motion, for those of you who don't know who he is the longtime curator behind Webseries Today.
He's a legend.
He's a mini legend. He's from the Only Girl 15 community. He goes way back. Nobody knows or loves the web space more than he does. And he's a bit controversial because he's outside the box, and he is a huge proponent of the World Wide Web. He hates geo-blocking, as do I, and whatnot. And you get the idea. And he asked some tough questions to Paul. Not nasty, nothing snarky or rude, but he asked some tough ones, I think, about the World Wide Web and whatnot. And, okay, he didn't really answer them very well, but that's not what the problem was. Soon after this incident, the show continued. It wasn't really an incident, it was just a question. But then he goes to the ladies and goes, I should have told you, do not answer anything by Model Motion. And in public, on this live show. Now, Model Motion has it up on his YouTube channel.
I have seen it, yeah.
One word, Model Motion, should find it pretty quickly. And he went off on Model Motion and said, do not speak of him. Like, basically told everyone, this guy is persona non grata as far as we're concerned. And I said, who do you think you are doing that? And I said, you know what? I'm not going to associate myself with this. I'm not going to put my name on it from someone who basically blacklists.
Well, see, I like when people ask hard questions, of the IAW TV. Like, I'm a member. I want to contribute. But I like when there's hard questions. I like when there's different viewpoints, and sometimes I like when people battle it out, because that just means that both parties are passionate about their side. And I think good things come from it. So I like when Model Motion asks tough questions and puts the fire to the feet of people every now and then. I'm a big supporter of Model Motion. I sort of felt he got dissed there.
I think it went beyond that, because it said to me, okay, you know what? You blacklisted this guy. Who else are you doing this to? You know, I mean, it really said to me, there's something going on behind the scenes in LA and New York that we on the outside don't know about, and I don't think that's right. And especially when it comes to our organization, which has international in the title, you know, that so guys like me who aren't in LA, who aren't in New York City, are looking at it like, wait a minute, something ain't right here.
Well,
and
with me, you know, I am supportive of the IWTV. That's why I'm a member, and I hope it grows bigger and bigger. And this is it's just starting out. It's really just a young organization, but the issue I have is with the geo-blocking. I think if you're a geo-blocked show, that you should be ineligible to be in the awards, because again, it's an international award ceremony. So the shows that are submitted have to be international. You can't, because I couldn't watch Mercury Men, and I couldn't watch Rise. Or is it Reese? Reese. I couldn't watch those, and and those shows are beating out shows, actually international shows. I don't think it's fair that a show that maybe is just shown in Canada can knock out an international show. It doesn't make sense. What do you think, Matt?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings on it, and I think personally I am against geo-blocking. I think that the internet's there for everyone, and if you're going to put something out there, it should be up there for everyone to watch. I don't think, as an organization, that we should take such a hardline stance on it, because. And this is really the only issue to me, is that some shows only get made because of these deals that include geo-blocking, and I just don't feel like we should step in and say that is not an appropriate way to make money to make your show. I don't think we should be in the business of telling people how they should be able to fund their shows.
Well, you guys are calling for quality control right now, so why is that any different from this?
I don't think anyone's calling for quality control.
David Nett went off on tangents in the Facebook about that, and Jeff Kennedy got in my face about that as well. About they want quality control, and
I think we want to definitely raise the production level of everyone's shows. As just in general, it's an overall desirable goal. But I don't think that there's any forcing of that or anything like that going on.
I think people should be wanting to resonate with an audience first, then worry about quality, then worry about production value, because that comes with time.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is that when people start saying, well, we need to have a TV guide for the web, because I want quality control, and I want rules, and I want this, and I want that. I'm like, okay, you want to penalize guys like me because we don't have enough money to compete with Mark Gant back in 2009.
Well, I think that there's...
The bottom line is, it comes down to if you're going to penalize us for that, then why not do the right thing and say something and do something about geo-blocking and say, you know what, this is not viable. It's clearly not viable. It has never been viable. We're not going to reward it any longer because it's not. You made your choice, and there's consequences for that choice, and there's benefits for that choice.
I will say on the content quality control thing you speak of, I don't think that's. I think you're misinterpreting what they're saying a little bit. I think what they're saying is right now it happens in a lot of areas. Take iPhone games. There are over 100,000 apps out there, and people need a way to figure out what they want to like. So I think what they're talking about is they want people to make curated lists. So it's just like a movie review. There's less movies out there, so it's maybe a little less useful there. But they want someone to say, I have these tastes, and these are the shows that I like. They're not saying like on an organization level. They're just saying personally, I want to find someone that will go out there and watch all the stuff, and then come back to me with the stuff that was worth watching. And
don't legislate it. That's part of business. If there's a need for something, go out and make it. That's where free enterprise comes in. But don't be legislating it, because if you legislate it, then you got a couple of guys in LA who don't know a damn thing about what resonates with an audience and what doesn't, telling everyone what they should and shouldn't watch from an organizational standpoint, and I think that's wrong.
Yeah, and I don't think the organization has anything to do with what they're saying. I think it's just dealing with the signal-to-noise ratio of all the stuff that's out there. And, not everyone has the time to watch it all. And it's not necessarily for, other creators. It's for people on the web. They want to know what's good, and they're going to need people to, sort of filter out the stuff that they're interested in, and not, and that's the thing. Anyone can do that. People, the indie inner tube people are an example of that. They watch stuff. They say, this is the stuff we like, this is the stuff we don't. Other people out there, they don't want to watch everything. They could go by what they listen to. But if their tastes are different, they might need someone else to do that for them.
I'm just saying, don't legislate it. If someone wants to start a website, go ahead. It's free enterprise, and anyone can do anything.
Exactly. And I don't think anyone was saying legislate it.
I'm fine with that. I just don't want to see them take that next step, because I remember Jeff King's very public, we need a zero tolerance policy against sucking a few years ago, and I remember thinking, you've got to be kidding me, because he wanted the industry to police itself on that at the time. Now I don't know if he feels the same way now, but at the time I remember you absolutely not. That's sick. That's where you start saying we have one or two people making rules saying who can and can't make shows.
Okay, now for another issue I had that I'd like to see next year, I'd like to see more categories. I found with my show Spell Fury, it's sort of a drama comedy. I was sort of a little split as should I submit it as a drama or a comedy. I'd like to see something like a dramedy or just more categories. Matt, what
fantasy?
Pardon?
Really?
Or fantasy or sci-fi category. Matt, how do you feel about the categories? Would you like to see more, or were you happy with what?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely some that were lacking. I think the big ones I've heard are the ensemble cast as one, and and how writing and I can't remember. I think it's cinematography and a few others weren't broken out. So you had reality shows competing against dramas for cinematography. Didn't make a whole lot of sense. And I think that obviously they're under pressure to put a limit on the number of awards. And I think we're gonna they're gonna learn, and we're gonna add new ones. I think that there are lots of shows in your situation, Travis. I know the Suck and Moan guys are sort of a dramedy as well, and they didn't really know which one they fit into. And it's really hard because then when you break it into genres, where's the line on that? I think that what's great is that there's other awards out there, like the soap awards that do soaps, and the Indie Inner Tube Awards. They have lots of genres. They have fantasy,
they had a lot,
and vampire shows and all this stuff, and I think that's great, and obviously we can't have 1,000 awards or anything, but I do think we should have more, and we're trying to cover the entire web. Any 2 videos online, we're gonna have a lot of categories. It's a lot to cover.
I also noticed it almost seemed militant that no youth demographic series or youth-oriented shows were given much of a chance to compete in anything. When I see things like, I know Kids React got a couple of nominations, but they were really the only ones.
Ruby Sky was up there too.
It got a website nomination, and that's all it had. It didn't. It deserved a lot better than that. There was a number of youth-oriented shows because young people are really dominating the web space as it is, and I think that we ignored that. But then again, we also ignored the international community for the most part. I mean, there was a lot of times where I was like, what's up with this? It looked like just the same group that you see in Indie Inner Chat got nominations, and everyone else seemed to be getting table scraps in comparison. And it didn't seem like it represents very much of the space at all. And I remember when Paul made the statement, "Hey guys, have you noticed no YouTube categories?" It's like he was proud of the fact that he really didn't feel that YouTube deserved to be part of the equation, and that disturbed me as well. And the fact that really the only YouTuber that really got any major notice or more than a token nomination was Phil. And Phil DeFranco, for those of you who aren't aware of who he is, and who's one of the biggest YouTubers around. And I really felt that it was very exclusive. It looked like it was an audition for television more than it was a celebration of the web space.
Well, I mean, we need to obviously get more shows to submit. If they're not there, we can't vote on them. And
why does it just have to be someone submitting their own show? Why can't I say, well, I think this show out of England was really good? Why can't I make a case for that? Why can't I make a case for someone else's show rather than, why do I have to toot my own horn if I don't want to?
Well, no, that happened with the Streamies, right? You could do that with the Streamies?
Yes, you could. Yes, you could. Yeah. I don't know what it's going to be like next time if they even get it off the ground, but that's how it was the previous 2 years at Streamies, yes.
Yeah, and I guess that's just award show philosophy. If it was free, you explode the amount of entries you have, and we already had to watch, I think, 1,900 considerations. It would have been a lot more. And again, I think the voting system would.
If you're creating an award show, you signed up for that.
Yeah, but it's not out of the question to have a submission fee.
I'm not a big supporter of that, only because of the fact that breeds exclusion. It really does. Like everyone talks about, we need to bring more members in. Why not create more awareness first, and then go on a drive? I mean, that seems to me as a far, like, asking somebody to pay for something that they don't really know how it benefits them, or even know whether it exists or not. It doesn't seem to me like something that will work out very well if you don't bring the awareness with it. It's the cart before the horse, really.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to come in the years as we hopefully grow. We're going to get more awareness. It's just, it's definitely something we have to do. I'm in agreement with you.
Now with the going back 2 years with the awards. Oh, now I'm getting some feedback somewhere.
Yeah,
I think it might be Matt. Do you have headphones?
I do.
Oh, you do? Oh, I don't see you wearing any.
No.
Well, I don't have them plugged in. I can put them on.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, that's weird. Just that all of a sudden it just kicked in.
Yeah, we were fine so far. So
yeah. I think we're doing pretty good. I think it's an interesting chat.
Okay.
It's nice to see both sides. I like it. Okay.
All right.
There we go. Oh, now I'm still getting... maybe it's you, Chris. Do you have headphones?
No, I don't.
Oh. Yeah, it's kicking back from... Can you mute your mic there for a sec, Chris?
I don't know if I can.
It's just that little microphone with the little cross.
I can't hear you anymore because I turned the volume off, but I don't have a microphone.
Hello, testing. 1, 2.
Hello?
Yeah, I'm still getting feedback. It's my voice kicking back.
I muted my mic, so...
Okay. Hello, testing. 1, 2. Okay, I'm not hearing it now. Can you guys hear me?
Can you hear me now?
Yep. Testing.
Okay, because I'm not hearing any feedback anymore.
Yeah, I guess it's not that big of a deal. It's just
I hear it on Travis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hear it on me too. We could just... I haven't been talking that much anyways, so we can just keep going.
But you were up next, though, so go for it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. All right, so... yeah, with going back 2 years for the awards, I was a little confused as to why it went back 2 years. Matt, do you know why? I actually don't really know. I didn't look into it.
I think the reason was that there was the gap with the Streamies, and they wanted to it was like the IAW TV covered 2 years and then they skipped a year, so it was like, did we want to fill in that gap? And
Okay.
I think the vote was close, but it ended up being that people wanted to be more inclusive, so we have this weird year where we have 2 years worth of shows that are up for nominations, which, top 5 shows in 2 years is, it's pretty tough.
I'm not sure if I'm buying the inclusiveness argument because they excluded so many others. But my feeling on it is that I noted when the result came out, it looked like a good 60 to 70% of the nominees were dead shows, and that if you're trying to sell it as a brand or get a large amount of awareness, it's really difficult to do when most of your showcases are no longer producing, are no longer in existence.
Yeah, I mean, we picked the show.
Okay, now, do you guys have any other thoughts on the awards that we haven't brought up yet? Like, we should congratulate the nominees. There's a lot of talented people in there.
All I'm going to say about it is that I don't have a dog in the fight because I chose not to run for it. But it really felt to me like there was they really almost seemed to go out of their way to exclude people. And I'm looking at those nominees, it's the same people. Like Travis and I, we've talked about the term LA bubble, and it really looked like it was in full force this time around. And that is something that I know is even bigger, more of the higher profile shows like Talent and the League of Extraordinary Dancers didn't even get a sniff. I don't know how anyone can justify that. I mean, there was so many things that got ignored, and so many people that just seemed to be getting where they were because they had the right friends. And that said to me, this doesn't seem right. And when I heard about all the ties, I said, yep, there was block voting going on. So, man, it just, I'm looking at this and I'm just shaking my head. I'm like, how did this happen? And why did this have to happen? And it seems like it's being done for the wrong reasons, and the way it went down makes me feel that way a little bit more.
Matt, do you want to respond to that?
Well, I mean, I think the thing that was good to me was that when I got the list of the final nominees, they were tough choices to make. So I think that obviously, like, I don't think there's any conspiracy out there. Everyone in the group voted, and that's how it turned out. Obviously, there lots of shows on there that I'm surprised about not being in there too. But I mean, I think everyone that's up there is deserving of praise, and they should be proud to do it and proud to be nominated. And I think that as we go on, I think awareness will grow, and we'll get more submissions, and it'll be a lot tougher to get in there.
What's the point of submitting if a certain group of people are always going to vote for the same group of people over and over again? That's what I'm wondering.
Well, the more people who join up for the IAWTV from international places, we're going to get more.
Well, what's the point in joining? What's the point in paying $90 if you can't see any benefits from it? People aren't going to join if they don't get them. We've been arguing about this for a year, and nothing's changed. And it's not really going to spill out to the rest of the world, but they're going to see from the outside what's in it for us to join. And
that brings up a great point, Chris. And it's one I've heard a lot of people talk about. Why doesn't the IAWTV do this and that? The thing that you kind of have to realize is that the IAWTV is us, and when someone says we should have stuff that's more international, like, somebody has to do that. And I've been actually working on...
We're in a green light culture here. When I remember on the old Vanilla board, I'm not going to discuss any actual details, but I remember trying to post resource threads, and I would get these long-winded responses from some guys in that clique. They were like, I don't need that. I don't make web series. And it was ridiculous. I was like, oh, well, you just took the wind out of my sails. I don't really feel like helping now.
Well, I mean, it's a big group, and not everyone's going to agree with everyone. But I've personally been working on trying to get
That's about
trying to get more international benefits to people. You know, we started the weekly members chat. Which happens every Sunday. Hope you guys will be there, 6 p.m. Pacific time, on the IAW TV chat board.
No, that's cool that you did that, Matt.
Yeah, and we have a newsletter coming out now that's going to hopefully bring more communication. Because that's another thing a lot of people have been asking for. I guess on the communications committee, we've been working on that a lot. So there's hopefully going to be some stuff out there. We have some workshops that are going to be available for all the members to participate in coming out next year. So I think we're working on that. You know, we heard that people aren't sure why they should join, and we're trying to give them reasons now. So I'm hoping that will change, and they will see a value in their membership fee.
Yeah. Quite frankly, I heard that last year, so I'll believe it when I see it. I'm sorry.
Yep, and like I said, we have a lot of stuff that's coming out soon, and it's happening. So
yeah, and Chris, we're members, so our voice is heard until they delete our thread.
Facebook. They tend to do randomly. I honestly, I'm a member who's essentially been told many a time that me being a peer is laughable. So, frankly, if people wonder why I'm, not exactly friendly towards the cliques out in LA, that's one of the reasons why, is because I'm basically been told so many times, no, you don't belong here. And a lot of times people would not shake my hand or would not respond if I extended my hand, figuratively on the web, like, hey, how's it going? I'm so and so, it's so I'm in that realm of, do we really matter to them other than they get to take our money?
Well, we get our voice, I think, in the Facebook group, which is a private group for IAWTV members. I think there should be you can't delete the whole thread. I think just delete posts. The administrator should just delete the posts that they have issues with. But to delete an entire thread about geo-blocking, I don't think... I felt like my voice was silenced.
Why? Yeah, it was... but that's how they roll as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If we get to have a voice in the IAWTV, then I think it's worth staying in it. And
we don't have a voice. That's the thing. We haven't had a voice, and they stifle it when we do try to raise our voice. And the same small group keeps dominating the conversation and basically says, "I'm the last guy standing. I win," and it's ridiculous. And it just, to me, I don't see what it is, and I don't see how things have changed. I really don't. I mean, some things have changed a little bit, but only for certain people, not for everybody.
Well, the only thing I can say is that I'm glad that we have all the spirited debates and we talk about tough stuff. I think the only issues that have come up is, the personal attacks and things that happen, and regardless of who's responsible for them, I think we just need to realize we're all in this together, and we may disagree, but we still have to get along with each other, and even though there's lots of decisions that I don't like being made, but I don't think there's any cruel intentions behind them or anything. So just have to keep working on making sure that my voice gets heard, and hopefully in the future things get changed the way I like them. So.
At this point, I've been following this for 4 years, and the growth of it for 4 years. And it's reaching a point now where it's like, okay, you know what? This is a group that I don't believe is ever going to change. They wouldn't even. I remember we had to drag tweets out of people to get awareness for the announcement on Cheryl Lazar's show. I mean, gee whiz, how is that us working together? How is that helping each other? That's people saying, well, I don't think I'm going to be nominated, so I don't feel like helping you. I'm like, these people think that that helping others is going to diminish them somehow. Well, nobody cares now. So what makes you think that it's going to make things worse if you do help? I mean, I'm very community oriented. I've built a very big one over the years, and I'm very proud of that. And I love nothing more than interacting with my viewers and helping other shows gain an audience and find their niche in this massive web space of ours. And it saddens me to a point where it even angers me after a while to see people so selfish that they can't lift a finger to help a group that they think is going to help the entire industry. And if you're not helping that, you're not helping at all. And even that was drama. And it said, I remember thinking to myself, man, if this is how we roll, then we deserve to fail.
Again, it's still young. Still, I think there's still promise there. I'm a little with Chris where I sometimes, I don't know. I'm still, the jury's still out with me with how things are going to play out. I just hope things do change. I know some of the international members I've talked to, they're not sure if they're going to be back. They're not going to renew their membership. I'm not. They just don't feel part of the team, I guess. I don't know, but I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I think Matt does great work within the IAWTV. I think there's a lot of people who've got, are doing a lot of hard work. Yeah. Now let's switch topics to. Is there anything besides the IAWTV? The awards that you guys want to talk to, but that's happening in the web series space right now. Matt, is there anything else you want to talk web series wise?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. Obviously, I think the awards and the nomination process has been on everyone's minds lately. I don't know. I mean, I guess there's some new content distributors out there that were announced for the show. It was like JTS TV or something like that.
Where are they out of?
I'm not sure. I think they may be few people.
There's I'm not sure.
I'm trying to figure out the name. What was it?
Y'all are aware of King of the Web now, right?
Yeah. You got me onto them. I checked it out.
They were promoting on TubeFilter for at least a month before I bothered to click on them, and now they're everywhere.
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't seen that.
They were the first people to speak at the last TubeFilter meetup. They were they not announced as one of the sponsors for the IAWTV Awards?
I know I read something where
all over the place for that.
I guess the winner from the King of the Web would go to the IAWTV Awards and,
that's right.
And present or something like that.
Certainly.
Yep, they are on there.
Yeah, so Matt, basically it's just a website where you submit your content and you have to try to get votes, and then there's a King of the Web, and you get like $10,000 if you're in first place, and then you can put that towards your show.
And then there are consolation prizes for, I guess, 2 through 5, I guess.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It looks quite cool. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously big on everyone's mind, is how can they keep their shows going and everything. So it's good to have more options.
It's neat. It is what it is. Like, I'm on there. I'm getting into it the same way I do on YouTube, and it seems like a lot of fun. I think the big test is when people actually start making videos for King of the Web. I think that's when things are really going to start growing, because then people are going to start making exclusive content for King of the Web, and it's going to grow even more. If that doesn't happen, it may fizzle. But they seem to have a lot of backing, and if they're giving away $10,000 every 2 weeks, they must have some backing. So I've got a feeling that we'll be hearing from them a lot more.
They'll definitely get some attention.
The only issue I had was I read through the terms of service, and there was a few things in there that sort of made me nervous, where they could sell your. I think you retain your content, but they had the rights to sell it to a third party for whatever reason, which I hadn't seen before in a term of service.
I think that only works for things that you make specifically for it, if that like you upload, rather than stuff that comes from YouTube, because they can't touch that.
Okay.
They can't touch anything you've already signed a terms of service agreement with, which is, of course, YouTube and any other existing portal, which you have a terms of service for, no matter who it is.
Okay. Now, I guess maybe to finish the show, we'll just let's talk more about making money with a web series. Matt, have you thought of how you can monetize Hollywood Wasteland?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this was my first go around, so it was more just to make something, and I liked the idea of being able to continue on with characters and sort of build and everything like that. So it didn't enter my mind immediately, but I've obviously been forced to think about that a little bit. Obviously, there's like ad revenue, which for us is not a whole lot. We're trying to think of I guess we're going to look at merchandise and hope that works out for us, because I think there's some cool opportunities. Actually, the shirt that I'm wearing is from the third episode, our Acai Blast product.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we actually got to work with a cool sponsor called Skanky Wear, which makes shirts, but they are like water repellent. You can see here's our logo.
Nice.
But yeah, they're really cool because you can spill water on them and it just beads off, but it feels like a normal T-shirt. So we sort of have the apocalypse-proof T-shirt there. So we're looking for things like that, and ultimately, I'm not sure what we'll do in the future with season 2. It'll be depending on if it's our own money again to make it or not. But that's kind of what we're looking at right now.
Okay, Chris, your video seems to have frozen on my end. Can you still hear us?
I can definitely hear you, and I can see everybody normally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you've mentioned that we're going to start selling merchandise for Venus Spa.
We have been doing so for the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
We have a Cafe Press channel, cafepress.ca. No, sorry, cafepress.com/Venus Spa, where you can get Venus Spa T-shirts. We've got one with the logo on it. It's pretty cool. It's the new logo, not the old one. And we're probably going to have one for for what we refer to our fan base as is the Spandex Mafia. And we're probably going to make a specific Spandex Mafia logo shirt available soon for our regulars and for anyone else that wants to wear it. They look pretty good, and when that's available, I think people are going to really like it.
Yeah, the design you have now looks really cool. I'm looking at it right now.
Thanks.
Yeah, I tried selling shirts through season 1, and it did okay. It wasn't making much money, so I eventually just took it off. But I might actually start a new Spell Fury like Cafe Press site, because we're going to be going to. I think we're going to be going to G-Anime, which is Gat No Anime Festival, and they're going to give us a table and like a free booth and stuff. So we may bring some of the cast members and puppets and stuff. So I'm going to have to get some T-shirts made. So yeah, I might try it again this season.
Cool.
But okay, well, let's wrap up the show now. Matt, where can people find you if they want to contact you about the show, ask you some questions?
Well, the best place to go would be HollywoodWasteland.com. We have a Facebook page as well. We have Twitter at HWoodWasteland. And you can find me at MattNewcomb.com, and I usually post all the things that I've been up to there.
Excellent. And Chris, where can we find you?
YouTube.com/Watch Venus Spa, and on Twitter at Team Venus Spa.
There we go. And you can find me, Travis Gordon, at Travis Gordon on Twitter, and on YouTube you can find me at youtube.com/T-Bone Pearson. So I just want to thank you guys for a great show. I found it very interesting, and I hope our audience did too. And
yeah, thanks for having me on, Travis.
Not a problem.
Thanks so much, Travis. It's been great.
Okay. Yeah, you guys have a good day.
You too.